going on, Jeromes? Happy Thursday out there. Thank you for coming along on the live stream. It is always a good time. We got another hour-ish, but really more like 50 minutes-ish of hashtag content coming right at you. So it's going to be a good time today. Live chat, thank you very much for coming along. Our nice little group of Jeromes, the Jeromes faithful, every single day. Every single weekday. Gotta be specific. There you go. It's a good time. So if you want to support the work, hit that join box, become a monthly or a platinum Jerome player, and come along there. As well as, if you like this shirt, I love this alternate Minnesota football logo. It kind of, there you go. I'm trying to work out how my hands work. It kind of reminds me of like the Augustana logo. But this is great. Get it from our friends at brandmn.com in the link below. Also use promo code RealJerome. Save 15% off your entire order. So all the stuff that you've seen us wear. Actually, for the last 3 weeks, every single shirt that we've worn on camera, except for like the douchebag tank tops, have been Brand MN. So get after that. Boom. Let's see here. Good time in the live chat. You guys are ready to rock and roll. Just wanted to start off in the front. And again, we've said on here many times that we know that you guys are here for sports and nonsense, and we respect that. And there's too many sports shows and platforms that definitely dive into politics. There's much better places for politics, but with what's going on in Minneapolis the last couple of days, it's right in my backyard. It's obviously a damn shame of everything that's gone on, but I don't want to divert this into the minutia of everything that's been going on. It's just tragic and just happens way too often, everything involved. But like I said, we respect your time. We respect why you come here. We don't want to make this political soapbox show, so we won't. So poll. I put this out there yesterday when we were doing the video of the top 5 Vikings rivals, and I didn't think the Lions are rivals of the Vikings, right? You're in the division, but I just feel like there's never been this animosity between Lions and Vikings and both of the respective fan bases. It just isn't there, right? So I put out the fans. So 1,500 votes. Are the Vikings and Lions rivals? 81% say nah, 19% say yeah. I'll say nah. I'll say nah, because I'm trying to think of what other division dwellers are not really rivals. Well, let's bring that up. Wiki. If only there was some easier way to look at. All right, so Bills, Dolphins, sure. All the East is just shooting up at the Patriots. So the way I define rivals is that there has to be some sort of balance. Like each side has to win some of the time. Otherwise, it's really just one side. Like Vikings fans, we got a lot of comments like, "Oh, the Vikings-Seahawks rivalry." Except the Seahawks always beat the piss out of the Vikings. So is that really a rivalry? Not really. It's pretty much one. It's like big brother, little brother. So the NFC North. The Ravens and the Browns, sure, because the Ravens used to be the Browns. Bengals, Steelers definitely have something going on. Like Ravens and Bengals, they really rivals? Maybe. Like Texans and Titans. Oh, well, the Titans used to be in Houston, so I guess maybe there. But like the Colts and the Titans, is that really a big-time rivalry? No. Oh, I will say that Chiefs and Raiders is a low-key underrated rivalry. It's one of the best ones in the NFL. Let's see here. All the teams in the NFC South hate each other, which is great. But all right, so Cardinals and Seahawks, Cardinals and Niners, is that really that heated of a rivalry? Probably not. Yeah. Mainly because the Cardinals used to be in the NFC East for a number of years. Like how weird is that? It was the current lineup of the NFC East and the Arizona Cardinals. Because when they did it, it was when the Cardinals, I believe, were in St. Louis. That might have even been Chicago when they did that. But actually, no, they weren't in Chicago. They're in St. Louis. Anyways, not rivals. Boom. All right, so we got questions. We got the Jeromes. Love you guys. Also, if you're catching us on demand, you're a rock star too. Don't worry about it. Bam. All right, so first up, Ben Berry. Do you think it would be worth signing Michael Bennett to a veteran minimum deal, put up 6.5 sacks in total in 2 different schemes, and would bring much needed leadership to the Vikings D-line? Could be a good rotational piece. Would also be a lot cheaper than Everson for similar production. For some reason, I've never really liked Michael Bennett. Bennett shoulder pads. I just think that he's always had sort of like a sad sack attitude. And not even talking about his off the field stuff, but just like the dude is for sure a mercenary. There's a reason why he's been passed around the league like so many doobies. Also, as trivial as it is, like his shoulder pads just bother me, right? Because the dude's wearing the shoulder pads from like a youth peewee league, and like, you know, the league has so many rules about, oh, well, your socks have to be showing 3/4 of an inches with the team colors and all this and all that. But yeah, they don't step in and be like, hey, why aren't you wearing legit shoulder pads, man? Like, yeah, I understand that some cornerbacks, receivers don't wear thigh pads because it impedes like their running ability, but this is just stupid, right? Elite, whatever. I say nah, Michael Bennett. I say screw it. Jake Lagavulin. Oh, also we asked what were your top burger toppings, since it's summer, it's grilling season. Let's get after it. So Jake Lagavulin. Top 3 burger toppings: saute mushrooms, Swiss cheese, caramelized onions, and oh baby, I agree. Andy, any supplements you were taking pre-Rona when the gym was open? So I've certainly scaled things back. I think as you get older, well, your stomach changes, as well as like the way that eating artificial food adjacent things make you feel. So like the last couple of years have really tried to clean things up, just eating cleaner, not eating as many artificial processed things, and that goes into supplements as well. So I basically have done away with pre-workout. All I take now are so Pure Vitamin Club. It's a company that's run by Vinny Tortorich. So we get a multivitamin, magnesium there, and then I wish I would have brought up, but we just take, you know, pure creatine, pure branched chain amino acids, like no additives. Because if you look at like your standard pre-workout stuff, you know, stuff that makes you tingle to get after, there's so much like artificial sweeteners and sucralose and red dye number 5 and aspartame, and it's just I fully understand. As a young buck, you want to get that pump on, bro, and you don't really care about it. But as you age a little bit, like, you can certainly tell, like, when you're putting in premium gasoline as opposed to when you're just putting in regular unleaded in the machine. All right. So next up is Griffin Creer. Oh, so I didn't answer the question. So take a multivitamin, take, if that counts as supplements, I guess it does, creatine, branched chain amino acids, magnesium, as well as krill oil. So take some krill every day. Griffin Creer. I don't know a whole lot. All I know is that the grilled onions are essential for a burger. Also, with the Pure Vitamin Club stuff, and then they're not sponsored the show. We're not hawking for them, but it's in the most bioavailable form, because otherwise, for a lot of vitamins, especially like those hard, like general vitamins that you get from, like, well, not throwing anyone on the bus, but you are just paying for expensive piss. So something that actually can be absorbed by the body and actually made use of. Yeah. All right. So Griff Creer. All I know, grilled onions are essential for a burger. I've really come around to grilled onions. Well, A, they're awesome, but, you know, B, if you're just, you know, making burgers for your family on a regular weeknight, they are sort of putsy. But yeah, just slicing up an onion, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper. Really easy peasy. But I do love the raw onion as well. And I have found myself, I'm just an onion fan, right? Where I have done, you're doing onions 2 ways. So you got grilled onions or sauteed onions, and then you have raw onions, where you just have all that savory flavor, as well as just different textures. It's good. Next up is Gary Odman. How about this? Dump Kirk's contract. I'm in a trade or release and save a ton. Cut Reef. After that, we have a ton of money. Sign Logan Ryan, Clowney, Larry Warford, then replace Kirk with Cam. You'd have to eat a ton of dead money with Kirk right now. I think you'd actually have to eat like 40 million dead. But if you're telling me you could do this with no repercussions, sure. Next up, Next up is Thomas Miles Jr. Burger toppings, blue cheese, sweet and spicy barbecue, and sauteed onions. Ooh, I forgot about the blue cheese. Blue cheese. Blue cheese is not. I'm not talking about like the processed like blue cheese dressing from Kraft. I'm talking about like actual like chunky blue cheese. I feel like that one is. Blue cheese is like the Patriots or the Yankees or the Cowboys. Like no one's ever like neutral. They either love or hate it. And I love blue cheese. Just like all those other teams. Like no one's ever just like, the Patriots. I have no opinion on them. Same thing with blue cheese. Either it's love or it's hate. No one ever casually just has some blue cheese. Like, oh, okay, I haven't had blue cheese in a while. Right, yeah. Next up is Billy Long. I figured I'd throw you off with America's hometown line, so just so you know, I currently reside in Hannibal, Missouri, pronounced Misery. And yeah, it's Mark Twain's birthplace, but for some reason, Renaissance and America's hometown. Where's Hannibal, by the way? Besides coming through the Alps. Because is Tom Sawyer, is that based in Hannibal? All right, so it's right on the Illinois border. So there you go. Right across the way from Quincy. How many people live there? It doesn't matter. It's raining there today. Next up is W.A. Robbie. Would you... Oh, sorry. Cut off his burger toppings there. Top 3 burger toppings, I go smoked Gouda, bacon marmalade, as well as caramelized onions. Whew. Sexy time. Next up is W.Day Robbie. Would you rather marry Kirk Cousins or Adam Thielen? Favorite burger topping, cheese, and more cheese. Well, since this is purely going to be a gold digger marriage, I'll go with Kirk, right? Because Thielen's career earnings are not going to be up there with Kirk Cousins, so we're in. Rohan Kumar. Oh, favorite burger topping, cheese, more cheese. There you go. Rohan Kumar. Barbecue sauce, onions, sliced tomatoes. Getting after it. Also, what will my guy Tajay Sharp's role be in the next season? Like I said, I think Tajay Sharp is really underrated and undervalued. I think he's a great, very clean route runner, very good at getting separation. He was just lost in the shuffle in Tennessee because when you spend the number 5 overall pick on a wide receiver and then you take another first-round wide receiver, A.J. Brown, who's actually good, unlike Corey Davis, and then you spend a ton of money on Adam Humphries, like it's natural that the 6th-round pick out of UMass is just going to slide down the depth chart, even though he's good, right? So I think he will find a role with the Vikings. I don't know how big it will be because it just could be a spot where, they spent a 1st-round pick on Justin Jefferson as well as Olabisi Johnson. Year 2 is really stepping up. Plus, they're more of a run-first team. So I don't think he's going to go for 1,000 yards, but I think he could come up with some nice, like, big-time catches, taking on like a Jarius Wright adjacent type role. Preacher Paul, hauling it for all y'all. Preacher Paul is also in the chat today. What's going on? Love the goofy tangents. All toppings work, just not a ketchup guy. So not sure if that counts. Great show. Keeps me hungry while intermittent fast. You're the best. Landon Miller. Hall of Famers currently in the NFL. Wow, I'd have to think about that one. 20? Harry the Hitman. We said in here a bunch that I don't think Hitman will make it, not because he's not deserving. I think he certainly does, but just because he isn't racking and stacking up, the all pros as well as he wasn't on the all decade team when he should have been. So it's the same national media jabroni football writers that are disrespecting him now. They'll disrespect him when it's time to vote on Canton. My favorite burger toppings are as follows: bacon, fried egg, blue cheese. Woo! Love it. Pro tip: if you make burgers from ground beef, which you should, use salt, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, not too much or it will dry out, and sriracha sauce, best damn burger. Best damn burger of your life. I agree. So, I have gone back and forth on the extra seasoning of the burgers, where I feel like some places, some people overdo it, where it actually turns into like a grilled meatloaf, right? But for a long time I've been a purist, like salt and pepper, season up like you would a brisket, very aggressive on it, and there you go. As far as like your ground beef, when we do brisket, I love saving the trimmings. When you trim down your brisket to about a 1/4 inch of fat on the top side, save it, dice it up, freeze it. You can use it when you grind up your meat. So what I like to do is you take that, take the brisket fat as well as some ground chuck, as well as, I mean, some people put filet in there. I think that's a waste. Yeah. So, chuck with the brisket fat. Sometimes I'll put like bacon fat in there too, just to spice things up. But with that, now my dad was definitely not a gourmand, but what he would do is he'd take like the French onion dip mix and just like mix it in with like regular hamburger, and it was so good. And we tried it again like a couple of days ago, and I forgot how good it was. There's just something about like childhood memories, right? About childhood taste memories, like one of the first things that you actually enjoyed, or even like flavors that you hated from back in the day. So for a number of years, I didn't eat mushrooms. I love mushrooms now, but for I'd probably say from age like 4 to 18, I didn't eat mushrooms because when I was 4, I ate a mushroom out of the yard, which turned out to be poisonous. And then, so they called poison control, and they said, hey, you should probably drink a lot of milk. So I just remembered I was like waterboarded, like 2% milk. And also, by the way, Asians are naturally lactose intolerant. It just was never part of the diet, so we never developed those enzymes to be able to digest dairy properly. You know, like if you have an Asian friend, or if you're Asian, like have them drink a glass of milk and then just sit around them in a close room, in a small room. Go ahead. Yeah. But yeah, all the bad memories of like having to chug that half gallon of milk and then just mushrooms. Yeah, so that's a bad memory, but good memories, like those mushroom burgers. Also, so stupid. Like we've talked about death row meals before, and one of my elements would be is the sandwich I had all the time as a kid. It was my dad's favorite sandwich too. So you take 2 slices of like the most white processed bread you can find. You find the most processed bologna you can find. You find the most processed American cheese, and not even like craft singles. No, we weren't that fancy. You have to get the one that's basically all vegetable oil. Slap all that together with a little bit of yellow mustard, like neon yellow mustard, and just go win the day, right? I would have one of those amazingly crappy, horrible for you sandwiches, and just be good. Yeah. Next up is David Bryant. Down at David's Bryant. One of my best friends is a Packers fan. Oh, so tangent again. So David Bryant reminds me of the name David's Bridal. And also, so when the wife and I got married 10 years ago. Our anniversary was a couple of days ago. So got the dress at David's Bridal, and working there was one of my like long-term ex-girlfriends that I had in college before the wife and I met. So for just by luck and happenstance, the ex girlfriend is working there as the bridal consultant, the one that pulls dresses and advice and stuff for my future wife. All right, so they know what's going on. So of course, the ex is nice professional. She'll help him out, but of course she has to be all passive aggressive about it first. So my wife is a pretty tiny woman, right? She's probably a size 2. Right. But of course, the first dresses that the ex pulls are size 6 and 8. It's like, okay. Okay, sure. I just think it was funny. Yeah. Anyways, David Bryant, not David's Bridal. One of my best friends is a Packers fan, and he still thinks Xavier Rhodes is a good corner and Aaron Rodgers is a elite quarterback. No on both accounts. It's like, what? Well, maybe he's just conditioned to think that Xavier Rhodes is good because he gave up 2 touchdowns to Devontae Adams every single time they played, seems like. Burger toppings, provolone cheese, tomato, and hickory smoked crispy bacon. I think provolone cheese, it's really prevalent, but also I think it's a little bit underrated. Just that slightly smoky taste, just great. Also, yeah, just like a nice, fresh, like beefsteak tomato. Getting after it. Arkansas makes the best tomatoes, by the way. They're really good at that. And then just like, yeah, bacon. So for me, bacon, thick, certainly thick. Like take your standard thick cut bacon you get from the supermarket, the one that's labeled thick cut, double that at least. And then, so the key about crispiness is it isn't high heat. It isn't high and fast heat. It's medium to high heat, like medium high heat over extended period of time. Right, so that's what it is. So if you actually want like crispy skin on your fish, like don't crank that saute pan up to 11. Have it on medium, then just cooking longer. It seems counterintuitive, but sure. Also with bacon. So I like baked bacon. So, but instead of baking it like 425, bake it at 385 or some weird number like that, and then just give it time. It may take like half an hour, but have that thick cut bacon where it'll be crispy on the outside, but still like flimsy and still a little bit toothsome. Yeah. Mr. Popo. Do you remember when the Vikings were rumored to leave Minnesota for LA or something like that? Living in SoCal, that would have been tough for me. That's when they're trying to leverage the team of giving them a new stadium. McCombs tried that ish. The Wilfs did try that ish before US Bank Stadium was approved and was being built. So, yeah, that was always the boogeyman for so many years for teams getting leverage into a new stadium. It's like, we can move to LA. Yeah, but now it's going to be, moving to St. Louis, I guess. Moving to San Antonio. No, that was the one with the Vikings. That McCombs, who's from San Antonio, was like, I'm going to move the Vikings to San Antonio. I'm going to do that. Bullshit, you are. Yeah. Travis, haven't seen the video yet, but if Michael Pierce can cover, I'm pretty sure Hunter can. Yeah. Burger toppings, onions, especially if they're cooked into the patty. Ooh, love that. Pickle, sriracha, hot sauce. Just try it. Yeah. The thing about the onions in the patty, it's sort of like we talked about yesterday with the structural integrity of the pizza. It's like introducing too many liquid elements into it. So if your burger patty got too much liquid in it, like the Jerome said before about Worcestershire sauce too much, it can either dry out the patty or just can make it crumble. All right, so that's when you get into the meatloaf thing. But yeah, a little bit of sliced onion all up in those burgers. Next up is Gage Sandin, 2020 rookie quarterback predictions. Well, let's just rank them. I think Tua's actually going to have the best season. Yeah, I think Tua's going to have the best season just because I really like what they did on that offensive line, as well as just giving Tua a couple weapons. I think Burrow's going to struggle a little bit just because Cincinnati, even though they do have some decent receivers, even though they have Joe Mixon, I think that O-line outside of Jonah is really questionable. So I'll put Burrow 2. Herbert, I don't even know if he's going to start right away. I believe in Ty God to a degree. So Herbert there. Jordan Love is going to sit. And that's pretty much all the quarterbacks to note, right? And with everything that's going on in the world, it does seem like the draft took place like 5 years ago. Quarterback. All right, so Jordan Love. Jalen Hurts. I think that the Eagles will use Hurts in the Wildcat Taysom Hill sort of role, but I think eventually he will start absorbing more and more of the work from Carson Wentz. Eason is going to sit. Morgan's going to sit. Fromm is certainly going to sit. Maybe Jake Luton. I don't know. They've benched Gardner Minshew once last year. So, I don't know. Maybe Luton will get an opportunity. Cole McDonald, probably not. Ben DiNucci, no. No. Nate Stanley, MVP. Actually, who do the Jaguars have besides Luton and Minshew? Oh, Josh Dobbs, former, I want to say, third-round pick out of Tennessee by the Steelers. He's a legit rocket scientist. Well, fourth-round pick. That was way off. Oh my God, they have Mike Glennon. Oh, R.I.P. That's rough. Hey, Jeromes, if you're watching on the live stream, let us know where you're watching from. Give a couple shout-outs there. Always love doing that. Next up. Why do you think the Vikings never deployed the 3-safety scheme with George Iloka? I feel bad for George Iloka because I think Zimmer straight up just sold him a bill of goods. Hey, this is going to be your role. You'll be the extra safety. You'll do this. You'll do that. And then he just wasn't. But I do respect that Iloka just took it with stoicism, just took it like a man. It's yeah, whatever. I'm not going to bitch at the media. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But also, it did coincide with the rise of J-Ron Curse. Because I actually thought, so 2018 preseason, that Jerome was going to be cut because he didn't play in the first 2 preseason games. He really stepped up after they picked up Iloka before the 3rd preseason game. And then the rest is, J-Ron history. But yeah, Iloka, that's rough. That's rough. Bears and Reds fan, ketchup, lettuce, and bacon. I didn't talk about my top 3 burger toppings. So, Onions for sure. Grilled or raw, whatever you want to do. I actually like the raw. All right, so burgers, I would go. I really like Munster cheese. Like even though, like I said, everything about Asians and dairy, I do love cheese. So Munster cheese, very great underrated cheese, by the way. Um, Well, if you could pass on cheese too, but say raw onions, and I might even go lettuce, where it's not so much a flavor thing. It's lettuce is lettuce, but it is just a texture thing. So you take the cheese out, I guess. So you go that thick cut bacon for sure. Bacon, raw onions, and lettuce. I mean, there's just something about, I'm a big texture guy. So just having all that crispness and freshness against the fatty and juiciness of the burger, and plus the crispness of the bacon. Come on, playa. Come on. That's a lot. Texture-wise, why I'm always a big, toaster buns advocate as well. Yeah. Bears and ketchup, lettuce, and bacon. There you go. What was your favorite stadium the Vikings played in? US Bank Stadium. Like, you can't really compete with it, but I don't know. I was like the Dome. I grew up with the Dome, the Twins and the Vikings. Yeah. Also, even though the Dome was a pile of garbage, like that was not a good stadium. It was a dump, but it was our dump, the whole thing. Also, what is the most disappointing season you've witnessed as a Vikings fan? Probably, well, it's easy to say 17, 09, 98 just because of the way that ended. But, I mean, the entire season as a whole was very entertaining. I would say 2016. 2016 is up there. Yeah, the Vikings went 8-8, missed the playoffs, but the whole, Teddy's leg consciously uncoupling from his body, then the trade for Bradford to give up a first and a fourth, and then the way that Bradford looked at times, and then you lose Bradford eventually too, or like the 3-13 2011 season with Ponder and Donovan Fatnab. Just great. Brian, finally, who's your favorite Bear ever? Alan Page. Also, Jim Marshall Hall of Fame. Jim Marshall should be in the Hall of Fame, yes. Brian Kylanen. Canadian bacon, or candy bacon, excuse me. Caramelized onions, avocado, jalapeno aioli sauce. That sounds really good, too. Also, avocado on burger. Really, really good. Who would you give the Vikings their first major disappointing loss this season? Jaguars. Also, which UDFA will make the roster and be an in-game role player this year? I'm going to say Neville Clark. I don't know. Just something about him where I feel like that he will work his way onto the roster, either as a cornerback or a safety. Actually, cornerback, because I think Harrison Hand and Chris Boyd should project as safeties, unless they get Jamal Adams. Or Courtney Davis would be a good one too. Yeah. All right, so a couple shout outs. All right, so got a bunch here. So Skull from New York, Sir Meeps a lot. What is up? Husgamer 15, Skull from Minneapolis, RIP. Yeah, it's tough right now. Aclin 14, watching from Pakistan. What's up? GI Morgan, Skull from Cass Lake, Minnesota. Gorgeous, beautiful. Rumad Mazel, Skull from Rochester, New York, the lesser of the two Rochesters. Preacher Paul, still working in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Great tomatoes. There you go. Let's see here. Rashawn Ivory, Skull from St. Paul. What is up? Joe Forcia, Stillwater, Minnesota. Beautiful. Jabrisky, Trempolo. Cole Banham, Skull from Houston. Now, is it Houston, Texas, or Houston, Minnesota? Both are good. Karsten Cicero, Skull from Chicago. Boom, boom, boom. Also, Landon Miller, Skull from New Jersey. I guess they're doing an informal poll. Type 1 if you would trade for Jamal Adams. A lot of ones. Also, I like that you didn't list the option for no. So they're like, no. Neil Belf, Skull from Colorado. What's up? As well as Michael Savoda. Savobada, Skull from Columbia Heights. There you go. What's going on? Yeah. Heart you guys. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for making this part of your day. Next up is mustard, mayonnaise, pickles. Oh, for burger toppings. Your thoughts on pulled pork versus beef brisket. Brisket, Brisket is amazing. Brisket really is the Cadillac of barbecue. It is the most. It is the most. I want to say it is the most skilled form of barbecue, but I will say that ribs, pork ribs are up there too. Beef ribs are probably up there as among the easiest. Honestly, all you do is you let them sit for 6 hours. I mean, it's not really tough, and they're delicious, right? But yeah, pulled pork for me. Pulled pork is easy to do, just takes time. Our pulled pork takes about 8 hours, so you got about 6 hours on the smoker. Just get a really nice char, because for me, like, people don't get enough char on the outside of pulled pork. So then when you pull it, you don't get enough of that really smoky, nice flavor in there, because it is nice to get a bit of that bark in there with every bite. We'll get into why in a sec. Then we wrap it. And then let it sit for half an hour, and then you pull it. So with pulled pork, even though it is pulled pork, and a lot of people do just like pull, like they'll use like the tong knives and do all that stuff, or some people even use like a blender. I've seen it actually works pretty good, but for me, it's pull and chop. Right, so you don't have to dice it up so it's super fine, so it's every little bit there, but just like slightly pull it. And especially on the bark of the pulled pork, chop that up. So again, you try and get a piece of that nice darkness, with every single bite. So you try to do that. So pull and chop your pork. Brisket. See, our brisket takes about 13 hours. Definitely low, definitely slow there. And the toughest part about the brisket is, once you get it on, you check it, you spritz it every hour and a half or so. But the toughest part is that stall. So once it gets to, what's the temp, like 165, after you start losing a lot of that moisture, and things start shrinking down, so it actually sort of stalls the cooking. So temperature on a brisket, you want to get north of about 200. So it will stick about 165 for like an hour and a half, and then you'll be like so frustrated. Then eventually it'll kick on back up once that moisture gets wrinkled out of there. But yeah, I mean, it really is nothing better than just a really good brisket. Well, I will say that there's a lot of skill involved in it, because you have to properly clean the brisket. You have to trim it off, again, 1/4 inch. Roughly a fat on that backside. Plus, then you have to figure out how your heat's going to be structured, where you're going to put the point, where you're going to put the flat, and then letting it cook, because a lot of people they want to get it done fast, so they'll turn the heat up, which is no bueno for that. Like, you won't get a nice bark. You'll actually get more char, especially on the bottom of that brisket. Plus, then do you wrap? Do you wrap in paper? We like to wrap in paper. Sometimes I'll do tinfoil, which is, they call it a crutch. It's whatever. It super moist meat. It does turn out a little bit more pot roasty though, so that's why I like paper as opposed to just letting it ride. So, see, what temperature do we do paper? It's been a while since I've done a brisket. I have to go look at our notes, but, and then also, letting it rest properly, then slicing it against the grain. So your nice thin slices, about 1/4 inch slices for the flat, and then the point. The point is the cat. Like, honestly, so lots of places will sell just flats for brisket, and it's like, okay, it's whatever. But if places sold just points for brisket, I will get that and just do up a bunch of those, because the burnt ends are amazing, and just the fattiness when it's properly rendered out. Actually, like, you're melting the fat. It's not the technical term, but I feel like that's what it is. Where that's also why you do brisket for an extended period of time at a lower temperature, as opposed to a shorter period of time at a higher temperature. Because if you do the latter, you won't render out all that fat, all that decal, especially that big band of fat that goes in between the point and the flat. So just all that melting is just flavor, and also just basting your meat, and it's just sexy. It really is just sexy time there. A couple shouts there. Now you guys are just talking. You guys are just talking about Jamal Adams. Let's make it happen. Can we just make that happen one time? It makes too much sense. I do not care at all about playing 3 safeties. Oh, we'll play big nickel every single down, or just have Jamal Adams as the de facto weak side linebacker. Who care? Next up, Sean Phillips. Oh yeah, more barbecue questions, because then we'll just go off on it. I've actually changed the way that I've done ribs like several times. Topic for another day. Next up is Sean Phillips. Don't want to make you uncomfortable, my dude, but can you please comment on the police killing of George Floyd? Again, we said on the beginning, we try to keep this as apolitical as possible. Obviously, something that happened in my town, and it's a tragedy, and it needs to stop, and everything around it with the protests and the looting. It's all terrible. It's all tragic. Blah blah blah. But again, respecting your time. Try to keep this as sticking to sports as possible because I know that's what you're here for. Davis Wara, let's sign Jason Peters. Cut Reef Ezra. Will actually be able to learn under a good left tackle. I'm in. Husgamer 15. How do you feel about the Wild being in the playoffs? Are you going to watch any of it? No. Also, so they got in because they decided to extend the playoffs. Is that what happened? Stanley Maros. To go with burger toppings. I like to blend normal toppings into the ground beef itself, like bacon crumbles, cheese, mushrooms, peppers. Ooh, stuffed burgers are king. Oh yeah, here in Minnesota, the place of the stuffed burgers. But the thing about it is, it's very difficult to make stuffed burgers on like a normal grill. So it's really tough to make Juicy Lucy's on your normal run-of-the-mill grill because any puncture at all in that lower patty, and then all that cheese just going to ooze out on the grill, probably cause flare-ups, and then probably you'll char your burger. It's not good. So if you are going to make a Juicy Lucy, you do need a flat top. It is what it is, right? But they're good. They're amazing. Husgamer 15. If the NHL does come back, what impact would it have on the NBA and NFL returning? Well, I think the NFL just can watch, like the soccer leagues. Baseball's not coming back because they're bitching about money. NBA and NFL, and then take their testing policies, take what works, take what doesn't work, and I'll factor that all into their strategy. So I think the NFL, just because of the way the calendar broke, is in the best position of all the American sports leagues right now. Jabrisky, am I the only one who says Skull production value at the end of every video? Also been here since 800 subs. Skull, Jabrisky, the pride of Trempealeau. Trempealeau is a great town. Galesville, Eldrick, Trempealeau. Because I remember, so I used to run track back in the day. And at the meets, there would be GET, this jabroni school from Wisconsin. So it would be Galesville, Eldrick, Trempealeau. There you go. Jabrisky, longtime OG Jerome. Also in the chat pretty much every day. Archie, man. Carnivius Mustachio III. Browns are going to be a surprise team this year. 10-6. Baker Stefanski get it done. We need a better nickname. So Kufansky, it is absolute travesty that the Kufansky band was broken up after 1 year. Like, I fully understand and respect that Kevin earned himself the head coaching job of the Browns, but I mean, come on. Like, this was art. Like, this needs to be on the Sistine Chapel with all, like, the angels and all the dudes with their dongs hanging out. Like, Michelangelo needs to paint this. Revision. Yeah. Stefanski, Baker, Big Fansky. Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll workshop it. Chris Gian, mushroom, sauteed onions, and Swiss cheese. What microphone do you use? Ooh, Swiss cheese is good. I like a Swiss cheese. Actually, there's pretty much no standard burger topping that I'm against. Like, I'm all for it, right? What microphone do you use? All right, so this is a Rode USB. We've had this thing for like 5 years. It's durable. Love Rode products. Our Rode gear. The board is Rode. The headsets are Sensehauer, but this one is a Rode USB. You can get it online. It's like $150. It's really good, really durable microphone. Cyberbully123. What would be more weird, seeing Rodgers wearing 4 or Favre wearing 12? Probably Favre wearing 12, just because you're so used to him wearing 4. Also, all right, so there's been lots of really good 12s in NFL history. Look at Jim Kelly. You look at Rich Gannon. But how many good number 4s have there been? It's basically Favre. Best QBs to wear 12. Oh, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Ken Stabler, the Snake, Bob Greasy. Didn't Bob Greasy wear 14, though, at times? Joe Namath. Joe Namath sucks. I guarantee it. I guarantee that Joe Namath sucks. All right, so next up, quarterbacks wear 4. Derek Carr, is he number 2? I mean, I guess Deshaun eventually. It's rough. Like, what number is least represented by number of good quarterbacks? Play 6 is up there. Baker might be the second best quarterback to ever wear 6. Sanchez might be 1. I mean, what the hell's going on? Cutler. Actually, Cutler's clearly 1. Say 19. All right, so Warren Moon wore 1. Matt Ryan 2. Oh, and Jamarcus Russell 3. Russ. Daryl LaMonica. Yeah, 4. Favre 5. McNabb. 6. Bubby Brister. 7. Elway. Cunningham. Oh yeah, Cunningham 12 too. Yeah. We could do this whole numerology thing for years. Next up, Stanley Morris. Bacon, lettuce, and mushrooms with Swiss cheese. Whew. Love it. Who do you think is the worst player in NFL history? Tyler Palko. Tyler Palko legit may be one of the worst players in NFL history. Nathan Peterman, for sure, rightfully gets hit his crap, but Tyler Palko was bad. Game. Yeah. If this is your first time watching the live stream, this is what happens. We look up box scores of Tyler Palko. All right. So he started a primetime game. I forget which one it was. But yeah, he's got 2 games. His first 2 starts, his team scored a total of 12 points, and plus he had a total of 6 picks. Like, eventually he worked things out. I understand that Nathan Peterman threw that many picks in like one half, but yeah, Palko certainly up there. Most underrated in NFL history. Jim Marshall. Yeah. Pulford Skull. If Kirk tore his ACL week 1, hey, if Kirk was abducted by aliens week 1 versus Green Bay, and we had a big enough lead at half, Mannion finishes with a mediocre win. Vikings announced post-game press conferences that they're going to sign a veteran on Monday. Who are you signing? Cam, trade a second rounder for Jabroni Brisket, Eli Manning, Josh Rosen. I would sign Cam. Yeah, just because, they can make it work with the cap. I think he would give them the best immediate chance to win. Also, you don't have to give up any draft capital. Graham Anson, Carolina burger, mustard, onion, chili slaw. Love it. That sounds good. I'm getting hungry. Can't wait for lunch. Gavin Oddman, top 3, lettuce, tomato, cheese. Classic. Love it. Head coach. Give me your ranking for Mario, Zelda, Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot. You can do it. You're not old yet. Well, I actually only have experience with 2 of them. So it would be Mario 1, it'd be Sonic 2. I don't even know what the hell Spyro is. So I didn't even play a lot of Zelda back in the day. I'm one of those weird kids. So yeah, Zelda, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, all tied for 3rd. Cole Banham. Head-to-head game, who wins? 2000 Vikings or 2017 Vikings? I think the 2017 Vikings just eviscerate the 2000 Vikings. 2000 Vikings, yes, they made the NFC title game. They weren't that good. They were not that good. It was 41 donut for a reason. Zach Ballas. Have you had mod pizza before? No. Had it for the first time last weekend, and it was actually pretty good. Basically, unlimited non-protein toppings. A $10 pizza would have cost $25 at traditional pizza or extra toppings. Now we'll have to check that out. Onion straws, bacon, and cheese. Yeah, God, I forgot about like fried onions or onion straws, or just something else that you have the onion flavor, but just more texture. More texture. So I didn't understand why people put, as a kid, I understand why people put potato chips on their sandwich, but now I do. It's texture. It's great. Aaron Rodgers, BFF and lover. Can we get Preacher Paul to Holloway 2020? It'd be nice. Best 3 toppings for a burger is bacon, bacon, and more bacon. So, eventually it just turns into a BLT with a burger on it. But I'm not mad at that. Carnivorous, mustachio 3rd. Floppy thick bacon. That's right. Actually spicy habanero, ghost pepper cheese, jalapenos, cream cheese, less tomato. Let's get it. Aaron Rodgers, BFF and lover. I don't like the new rule proposal with the 4th and 15. Why is it good? I think it's good just because the onside kick is antiquated, and also the success rate is extremely low. So I like that they're trying something new. 2, if you played in the WNBA, how many rings would you have? Probably none because I'm 5'8" and bad at basketball. All right, yeah. Mo Abdul 99. My top 3 toppings are pickles, onions, and lettuce. Agreed. You think Kirk can be elite this year and potentially Dalvin Offensive Player of the Year? Yes to both. Yeah. I think, like we laid out in the earlier video, Kirk plus 6,600, so 66 to 1 to win the MVP. I'll put a C note on that. Let's go. Head coach. How many years do you give Diggs with the Bills? I'd say 2. How many years is contract left? PFR. Spot rack. All right, so Diggs has 3 years left on 4 years left on his deal. Excuse me. I'll say he makes it 2 years, and then they punt on him before 2022. Just trade him somewhere else. Next up is actually how much guaranteed money is left. So yeah, they could just cut him after that. Next up is Jack Thomas Van Asek. Do you think Irv Smith will be a borderline Pro Bowl or Pro Bowl year this year? Probably not this year, maybe down the line. Top 3 toppings are bacon, avocado, and lettuce. Yeah, I like it because you got the freshness and the crispness of the lettuce. You got the smokiness and crispness of the bacon. And you got the creaminess of the avocado. Let's go. Skull from Australia. Hunter Williams. Skull from Coon Rapids, North Metro represent. My 3 favorite burger toppings include eggs, cheese, and bacon. Breakfast burger. Let's get it going. Barbecue for the condiment. Ooh, changing things up. Do you think Tajay Sharp can put up 3 touchdowns against Xavier Rhodes week 2 against the Colts? Someone's gonna. May as well be Tajay. It's gonna be, someone's. I will say, if Xavier plays most of the game and doesn't have his famous limp offs, that he's gonna get lit up. To me, it will be Thielen, it will be Jefferson, it will be Tajay, just feasting, ready to go. Next up is AJ Barnes. Your thoughts on the current annoying backup quarterback situation? We're going to do a full video on that tomorrow. I don't know what it is. They just don't seem to address it. And also, I know you hit the gym. What's your opinion on branched-chain amino acids over protein powder? Do you take either? So we actually don't take like protein afterwards. We do take no additives, branched-chain amino acids. So just the pure flavor, unflavored. Protein powder. Part of it is the Asian thing. Part of it is the lactose, and yeah, you can get some really good ones. Isopure is a good one if you're okay with a little bit of artificial sweetener. There is a brand called Mulk. Jocko Willink puts it out. It's flavored with monk fruit, so no artificial sweeteners, and it is easy to digest, even if you don't do very well with dairy. But for me, just I tend to like to just eat meat. So yeah, get after that. Andy's evil twin. After as I die, after it's all said and done, do you think Hunter will have the most sacks in franchise history and/or the NFL record? Well, yes, to the record. What is the? It's a football DB. All right, so John Randall has the team lead with 114. So yeah, I think he'll break that. I could get both. It'll be the nice little parlay there. Next up, Tristan. I only eat cheeseburger with ketchup and mustard or a plain cheeseburger. Also, I'm turning 21 this Sunday. Happy birthday in advance. There you go. Andy's evil twin. What are the chances Harrison Smith makes a Hall of Fame? I'd say 15%. I think he's just too far behind the 8 ball right now because of the lack of honors and accolades from the national media. Tim Sprague, thoughts on a recent Minneapolis police issue? Already talked about that. Zach Ballas, do you journal? I don't, but maybe I should. Gary Odman. I think Michael Pierce is a better, younger version of Linval, and if you were the Vikings GM, what would be the first trade you would make? Sort of agree on the Pierce thing. I feel like Linval was a more established pass rusher with the Giants when he came over than Pierce is, but I think Pierce could certainly tap into that. First trade you would make? I would try and stockpile as many first-round picks for next year. Because, like, would you trade Harrison at peak value right now? Would you trade Dalvin? Would you trade Barr? Barr would be an easy one to trade. Just try and just absorb as much draft capital next year just so you have options of flexibility. Yeah. And then draft Trey Lance. Christopher Poole, bacon, jalapenos, and mushrooms. Love it. Sweet Rolls Jr., what do you think about Taylor Rapp's workout? I'm not familiar with what went on there. I'm bored. We'll take a look at it later. Brady Miller, do you think Jamal Adams is realistic? Probably no, but yeah, why not? Landon Miller, F. Mary Kill, Manziel, Ray Rice, Antonio Brown. All right, so I would. God, that's tough. Screw them all. I would kill Ray Rice. I would F. I would F Antonio Brown, and I would marry Johnny Manziel, mainly for the oil money. Ugh. Ugh. Eric Hansen, cheese of any kind, fried onions, mushroom sauté in butter, and when hungover, extra grease. Yes, that is key. As for sides, I've always been a guy who gets everything except for regular fries. Do you know if the Minnesota State High School League has a limit on how much eye black can be worn in football? My high school may or may not have had something to do with that rule that existed around 2003. I do not. But I like that they, like college, they let them do, whatever they want. Yeah. Where there is a point where, I love the John Randall basic face mask, like looking like Ultimate Warrior out there. All right, but see, I don't know who this jabroni is, but this guy, that's a little bit much. Like that's borderlining blackface, and yeah, you can't do that nowadays. But yeah, the NFL is boring. It's like you have to wear either you can only have a single line like Brady, or you have to wear like the patches and all that. And that's boring, man. That's boring. Like this dude, yeah, I like that from that dude. Ray Lewis looking like he's ready to kill someone. Let's go. There's Ray Lewis again. Ooh, DK trying to get things around. Ooh, he's trying to look like the guy from Clockwork Orange. I like that. Zero. Let's go up John Randall. Or whatever this is. This Eddie Vander does? Is that him? Yeah, but John Randall. I mean, come on, player. Let's go. Let's do that. God, it's good. All right, 25 different ways to wear eye black. Oh, is this baseball? There it is. Classic. The Tebow. Man, this is good. Glad we found this website. So you got all I had was eyeliner. And that. Bryce Harper. Jabroni. John Randall. Alice Cooper. Oh, there you go. Oh, the Batman. Someone needs to do the Batman. That'd be good. The raccoon. Oh, yeah. Clockwork Orange. There we go. Sting. Jack Skeleton. Spider-Man. Youth pastor. or the lead singer of Disturbed. Ooh, wah, ah, ah, ah. Black Swan. That's good. Groucho Marx. The card. Oh, yeah, Lil Wayne. There you go. Brown. Yes, Latimer. Seat at the table. First team. Free Wi-Fi. I love it. That's good. Next up is Mr. Popo. If you ever go to Tijuana, go to Rosarito, which isn't far from there. Best and fresh seafood you ever eat, and cheap, and with a great view of the beach. I've actually been to Rosarito. So after they shut down online poker, a lot of online poker pros moved to Rosarito, and I visited them, and it is a great town. Like if you want to get drunk and eat like a king for cheap, with great weather, as well as maybe not as much potential for violence as Tijuana, Rosarito is good. Caden. I spend 8 hours today and yesterday trying to get a 3D printer to work. It sucked. Should I just say I'm done and never look at it again, or keep trying to eventual success 4 years down the road? I don't know. 3D printers are pretty sweet. Keep at it. Also, burger, onion, mushroom, and fried egg. Yeah. Tim Sprague, why don't we have a better backup quarterback? That is a good-looking question that we'll never get the answer to. It's not like Kirk's throwing games. Lastly, Nick Doroff, burger toppings, bacon, crispy onion straws, barbecue sauce. Classic. Have you ever said, since you have said you are an MMA fan, how do you feel the UFC has done with the dealing COVID? Could you see the NFL or other major sports following what they do? So I've always respected Dana White's brashness. I did think it was a little bit headstrong pushing through, but they did operate in states where social distancing it wasn't mandatory. I did like that they tested the athletes and all the entourage beforehand. So I like that they were pushing to keep things as normal as possible, where it was responsible to do so, maybe borderline not so responsible, but I'm glad they did it. I respect what Dana White did, and I think that is setting precedent for leagues to come back, especially when it is safe and prudent to do so. And the more information and data that we get, it is showing that it is okay for sports to come back. I think that's great for everyone. All right, so that is it. That is the live stream for Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. Jeromes, you're the best. Brandmn.co. Order sickness like this down below. Use promo code RealJerome, 50% off your entire order. Support them because they support us. We'll be back tomorrow. Heart you guys. Skol.